What is up, people, and welcome back to Rags to Riches 3, the series where we go from one of the worst teams in F1 2009, work our way up through the teams and the ranks, and try and get a drive for one of the best teams in F1 2017. We are here in the 2009 season for round 14, only 4 rounds left to go of this 2009 season. But if you have missed any of the previous episodes, go catch up with the card annotation in the top right hand corner of your screens, and there will also be a link down in the description as well for you guys to go catch up with too. But here we go, round 14 of 2009. We are currently 8th in the driver's standings, which I believe is a Toro Rosso seat for next season. But we need to start to gain some positions, overtake a few drivers, and try and get up into the top half of the field. Because, of course, we do want to try and get a Sauber drive, or maybe even a Force India drive as well. Unfortunately, we cannot drive for Williams next season. I think that has gone away from us if we do have a little confirmation of the standings now. And yes, the gap to Jenson Button is a little bit too far, and I think Sebastian Vettel is probably a little bit too far as well. Of course, there are only 10 points for a race win in this game, so it is going to be difficult, but we'll see what we can do over the rest of the season. Hopefully, though, we can get between 4th and 6th to try and get that Sauber seat. But again, that is going to be very, very difficult to try and catch up to Kimi Räikkönen with. But let's have a look at the emails going into today's race, and it is just going to be a race preview, and it's exactly the same as the race previews we've had before, so let's just completely forget about that. They think we're going to fight for first. Let's see if we can do it as we head over to the race for the Singapore Grand Prix. Before we head over to the race, though, we have to do one-shot qualifying for the Singapore Grand Prix. So let's see how we go on this street circuit. Could be very, very difficult as we get through turn 1 nice and tidy. Turn 3 could be a problem, though. No, that's actually really good there through turns 1, 2, and 3. Let's see how we do over the rest of the lap, though. It's a very, very long lap here at the Singapore Grand Prix, but everything's looking very, very nice at the moment. Very, very slow through that section of corners, but let's see how we do as we end the lap here in Singapore. It's not been so bad so far, but of course this final sector could really make or break our lap. For a first lap around Singapore, though, I've been very, very happy about it. Through the final 2 corners, use all of our curves down towards the line. It's a 1:42.8. 2 seconds slower than the pole time of Mark Webber at the moment. So that is going to be very much touch and go with the rest of the field. And I feel like, unfortunately, that is probably going to be us out of the qualifying session. Ooh, that was close. Very, very close to the end of the day. Oh, nearly got through there into Q2. I knew that we were going to be out. I actually thought we were going to be a lot slower than that and way down like 20th to 18th position. But 16th place, it's not too bad at the end of the day for a first time around the Singapore circuit. Beating my teammate as well. But unfortunately, going out with the likes of Fisichella, Bourdais, Nakajima, and Piquet. Right, how close were we to going out? Not by much. 0.04 of a second was all that we needed to beat Adrian Sutil and get into Q2, and unfortunately that was lost through the final sector. Very, very slow final sector, and we do need to improve on that if we want to get a better result in the race. But that is where we are going to be starting today's Singapore Grand Prix from 16th position, way down the field. What can we do from there? Let's find out as we head over to the race for the Singapore Grand Prix. It's race day for the Singapore Grand Prix, starting in a very, very disappointing 16th position here today. It just means we're going to have a bit of fun as we work our way through the field. Unfortunately, the graphics for the Singapore Grand Prix just look absolutely awful. I apologise for what you're seeing on screen. It's absolutely hideous. But 16th position for today's race. What can we do? So we're on the grid now for the Singapore Grand Prix. The lights are coming on. We go to 5 red lights, and it is lights out. And away we go for today's race. Let's see what we can do down in towards turn 1. Going to take cautiously. I banged against another driver, though, there. I'm going to take it nice and cautiously in towards turn 1 and turn 2. Tapping the back there of that BMW Sauber driver. But it wasn't too bad as I've gone straight into the side of a Force India that was going ridiculously slowly through turn 3. I don't know why he was going so slow, but up the inside of the McLaren and maybe the 2 Ferraris as well. If I can get both Ferraris, I'll be very happy with that. Of course, I am battling with Kimi Räikkönen and Felipe Massa in the championship, so getting past these 2 drivers is vital here today. Unfortunately, we're a little bit slow down that straight. But it looks like Kimi Räikkönen's gone very slowly into the next corner, diving up the inside, weaving all over the place, getting the job done. And there we go, moving up into P11. But P11 is absolutely pointless if we don't get any points here today. So we need to now move into the points positions. Oh, Kimi Räikkönen up the inside there. Very nice. I left the door wide open for the Ferrari driver. Luckily, I had a much better line through that corner. It actually slowed him down, to be honest. He's now been overtaken by his teammate of Felipe Massa. Very slow for myself at the moment around this circuit. It might be because I'm starting on the harder tyres. Oh, I find that corner so tricky on this circuit. I need to brake a little bit earlier in towards that right-hander, but unfortunately, I am actually losing the leading pack right now, so I need to do something to catch up to those guys. Oh, Felipe Massa is out of today's race. He was running directly behind me, so disappointing there for Felipe Massa. A couple of drivers into the pits now very early in today's race. That's moved me up now into P9, I believe. Unfortunately, not quite in the points at the moment, but we are getting closer and closer. We just need to see what exactly those strategies are from the other drivers. More drivers coming into the pits here at the moment on lap 3. So that's going to move me up, I think, now into 7th position. Yeah, up into 7th at the moment. So up into the points. That's 2 points at the moment. The team want me to come into the pits this lap. Providing I have enough fuel at the end of this lap, I might go for another one. Because the hard tyres are doing alright at the moment. They're not that particularly warm. So at the moment, I am going to stay out on these hard tyres and go for another couple of laps. Because, you know, I've got the life in the tyres, so why not use it? Okay, the team want me to come into the pits. I'm going to ignore that, though. I think I do have enough fuel in the tank just to go for one more lap in today's race. The hard tyres are doing okay at the moment. They're just about starting to go yellow. So if I can keep it like that, as long as they don't go orange, then I will definitely make it to the end of the lap. But, of course, tyre wear on this game is ridiculous when they start to fall off the cliff. So I do need to be aware of that. But at the moment, still running in P7. None of the leaders yet to come into pits as well, so it looks like they're going for longer strategies in this race. So we just have to keep an eye out for what on earth is going on out on track. Oh, I've hit the barrier. I've hit the barrier. No, that is not what you want to do. I've broken my front wing. Luckily, there is no wheel damage at all, but definitely broken the front wing here in Singapore. Luckily, we haven't lost it, but there is a big amount of damage. So we're definitely going to be coming into the pits at the end of this lap. But that was a close one. That was very risky. Very risky. The heart was in my mouth there as we went straight into that barrier. But luckily, no damage on the car. Well, no hefty damage at all. Okay, here we go then into the pits for the Singapore Grand Prix. Hopefully, we don't have a problem with the pit entry. It should be fairly simple as we come into the pits, and there we go into the pit lane. It seems like a few more drivers doing the same sort of strategy as myself, and there are a few leaders going for the one-stop strategy as well. But I'm not too sure how these drivers are going to deal with the pit lane exit. Of course, we heard Sebastian Bourdais did have problems as he had to make very early pit stops. Had to make 2 pit stops, in fact, at the start of the race. One on lap 1 and one on lap 2. So we're guessing that the AI drivers do have a problem when it comes to exiting the pit lane, but whether that is the case or not, we're not too sure. Yellow flag is out though somewhere, so what on earth has happened out on track? There's a yellow flag. There's drivers. Are they going slowly out of this corner? I'm not too sure. Unfortunately, they don't say where the yellow flag is, but there could be a pile up somewhere out on track. But it's all clear now. Green flag, and we can get underway once again. But I've come out of the pits behind Mark Webber, who is currently in P11. I'm running in P12. A lot of drivers coming into the pits at the moment, including Mark Webber. So it looks like he is coming into the pits again. Whereabouts is this going to put me? After all these drivers come into the pits, I'm up into P5. What on earth went on when those guys exited the pit lane? Something must have happened, as I'm at the moment up into P5 for the Singapore Grand Prix. The incredible scenes going on right now in today's race. Up into P5, and maybe even the possibility to gain more points if the other drivers have more problems throughout this race. But it looks like, you know, it's sort of settled down a little bit up ahead. There is a few spaces between the other drivers, but of course we do have those other drivers who did in fact do the overlap. So if they've had a problem whilst doing that, then maybe, just maybe, we can move up into the podium positions. Oh, we got 2 more drivers into the pits at the moment. 3 drivers into the pits. Is that gaining positions or lapping drivers? It's gaining positions. I am up into P3. What on earth is going on? I'm up into P3. Okay, yes, those drivers have come into the pits maybe for a scheduled pit stop. I'm not entirely sure, but if they haven't and they've had problems, this could be incredible for my race. Up into the podium at the moment. Bourdais in for pit stop number 3 right now, proving that the AI do have problems around this circuit. So, fingers crossed, more things develop throughout this race as I bang against the barrier there. Do not want to do that again. But, looking at the fuel, looks like I've got enough to go for one more lap in today's race. Maybe, actually, I'm not too sure. They do want me to come in anyway on lap 8. But these hard tyres, they look really, really good. I mean, it would be a waste to not stay out for more laps. But I don't know right now. I really, really don't know. Okay, I'm going to stay out for one more lap in today's race. There are drivers into the pits at the moment. I can't tell whether they've had a problem or they've just come in for a scheduled pit stop. PK, at the moment, is doing very, very well for himself up into P2. And one of those drivers was actually a lap driver as well. Sebastian Vettel's still leading today's race. He's still out ahead of me. So, it's looking like a few drivers having a problem. That's probably Sebastian Bourdais that we've lapped up, actually, in today's race. So I'm going to guess it's him. We've just got to make sure the fuel does not run out on this lap. It's close, but it should definitely last to the end of this lap. Okay, then definitely coming into the pits at the end of this lap. We've got 1 bar left of fuel. And even though we might or be able to scrape back into the pits for one more lap, I don't want to risk it at the end of the day. I don't want to throw away this good position. We're in a good position to just get some points today. So as long as we, this last stint is very, very, very good. Okay, we've got to do now 5-6 laps on a set of soft tyres, which I do think is possible, seeing as 4 laps or 5 laps on a set of hards was easily doable. We could definitely done another 3 laps on those set of tyres. I feel like 6 laps on the soft is definitely doable. We're down into P10 at the moment, but there are a few guys still yet to make pit stops in today's race. Not too sure about PK, but certainly some of the other drivers still yet to make some pit stops in this race. We just make sure we get everything right coming out the pit lane. There we go, in P12 at the moment. So here we go, final stint of this Singapore Grand Prix. Let's see if we can gain some more positions. Okay, a lot more drivers coming into the pits at the moment. Loads of drivers into the pits right now. So whereabouts is that going to put me after this stint? There we go. As there's a McLaren all over the place after he's come out of the pits. It's Lewis Hamilton, who I'm not too sure what on earth he was doing. We're going to go for an overtake up the inside now, down towards this next corner. Are we? Can we squeeze up the inside? No, we can't. Not quite, as Bourdais goes in for another pit stop in today's race. That's pit stop number 4. I'm currently up into P7 right now, which is very, very good. Having a little look, but not going to rush anything. Not going to dive up the inside unless I have to. Maybe now up the inside. This next corner, here we go, on Lewis Hamilton, barging with the McLaren driver. He gives it back to me. Side by side between the two of us. Going to give him the rim on the inside just in case he's still there. We've got the job done. And there we go, up into P6. Getting my elbows out there, very much so, with Lewis Hamilton, but getting the job done and moving further up into the points. That's 2 points at the moment for today's race. And now I've got to close up on this group of cars, which seems like it's going very, very slowly indeed. I'm not too sure what is happening to these guys, but someone is going slow in the pack. Maybe it's PK, maybe it's the others. I'm not too sure. It's definitely PK. Oh my god! Oh my god! What on earth happened there? Wow! Oh my god! They were going so goddamn slow into that corner. I slammed on the brakes. I didn't even know if I was going to come out alive, but somehow I've done it. Somehow I squeezed the car up the inside there, got past Nakajima, everybody else, and I've taken 3rd position. I'm onto the bloody podium. How on earth have I done that? Another driver into the pits. It's not Bourdais this time. It could be Alonso. I'm not too sure. Is that me up into 2nd now? Am I up into 2nd place, or is Alonso still in 2nd? No, Alonso's still in 2nd, but still, what on earth happened there? What on earth happened there? Oh my god, I'm definitely going to have to look back at this footage, because that was absolutely incredible. I'm going to be buzzing about that overtake all day, because that was amazing. Another driver into the pits at the moment. So who is that? It's Sebastian Vettel, I think, yes it is, Sebastian Vettel into the point. I am up into 2nd place, and Fernando Alonso is leading. Wow, okay, Fernando Alonso currently leads the 2009 Singapore Grand Prix, and I am up into 2nd. Sebastian Vettel, I don't know whether that late pit stop has cost him quite a bit. I'm not too sure what Alonso's doing, but his strategy has worked out perfectly for him. Both the Renaults doing a fantastic job here today, with PK up into 3rd and Fernando Alonso currently leading today's race. The gap between the two of us, 7 seconds. I don't think there is time for me to catch up unless unless he has tyre wear issues. If he has tyre wear issues, then maybe I can catch up to the Renault driver. But it looks like Alonso has this race win in the bag. Alonso not into the pits on this lap, and I doubt he'll come into the pits in the next two anyway. I'm catching about 1 second a lap on Fernando Alonso, so maybe by the end of this race there is that chance that I could overtake him, but it's going to be close. It is going to be very, very close at the end of this race. Oh no, that was very close. Very, very close to the barrier there through that corner. Oh my god, don't throw it away yet, Hayden. Don't throw it away yet. You've got one more lap left to go. Come on. Can we catch up to Fernando Alonso though? What is the gap between the two of us? I've run it wide through that corner. The gap between me and Alonso is 5 seconds. Not going to happen. Not going to happen, unfortunately. I don't think I'm going to catch up to Alonso unless his tyres dramatically die on this final lap. But mine are starting to fall off as well. Look at that. Orange at the moment on the left-hand side. Any worse, and we're going to start running wide into corners. So need to be aware of that. Okay, very much struggling with tyre wear at the moment, but not long left to go into the final sector now. There are a few heavy braking zones through this sector, so there is a few chances for us to run wide and maybe put it into a barrier. But as long as we just keep it cautious through this final sector, brake early into every corner, I think we should be okay. I think we should be okay on this final lap. This could be a tricky one through underneath the stand. Nope, through there nice and perfectly. Here we go, last couple of corners for the Singapore Grand Prix. What has been another crazy race here today. I don't know what has happened to the drivers behind me, but round the final corner, Fernando Alonso takes the checkered flag, but it's another podium in the 2009 season. What a result here today. Second place, beating both my rivals of Felipe Massa and Kimi Raikkonen, and I will certainly be gaining on those two drivers in the championship. Sebastian Vettel, he finishes in third, with Rubens Barrichello in fourth, Mark Webber in fifth. Nelson Piquet not getting onto the podium here today, so struggled at the end of that race, but finishes in P6 with Kimi Raikkonen in 7th place. So that means I've only gained 6 points on the Ferrari driver in today's race, but that is still 6 points gained in the championship, so I'm very happy with that. Nick Heidfeld gets the final championship point, with Nico Rosberg and Jarno Trulli just missing out here today. The final standings for today's race, so Jenson Button down in 12th, Heikki Kovalainen in 11th. Any other surprises? Lewis Hamilton way down in 18th position, and he still managed to beat Sebastian Bourdais, who is in 16th position. Sebastian Bourdais, with those 4 or 5 pit stops they made here today, still finishes in P16, so well done to him. Looking at the Drivers' Championship then, we've moved up into P7. Fernando Alonso has gained a little bit on us here today by 2 championship points, which means the gap between the two of us is now 6 points. And we've also gained on Kimi Raikkonen to bring the gap now down to 3 points. There is now only 3 points between myself and that Sauber seat for F1 2010. Felipe Massa is not too far away either, so I could potentially get the Ferrari driver, get both Ferrari drivers in the standings. Mark Webber now overtakes Jenson Button for the lead of the championship. Right, Constructors' Championship. Toro Rosso move up into P4 ahead of Renault now, Williams and Toyota. Only 2 points though ahead of Renault, so we do need to be aware of that, and hopefully we can gain a few more points in the season to solidify ourselves up into P4. But that's a very, very good position for the Toro Rosso team. Okay then, race review after the Singapore Grand Prix. Hayden Gullis becoming a real threat. Hayden Gullis has been classed by closest rival Kimi Raikkonen a real threat after securing their latest podium finish for Toro Rosso, now in 7th position. This will undoubtedly make the race at Suzuka a crucial battle for both Gullis and Kimi Raikkonen. As the competition continues to heat up, the 2009 Japanese Grand Prix is going to be one to watch as this battle continues to unfold both on and off the track. So looks like the rivalry is heating up between myself and Kimi Raikkonen. Of course, he at the moment holds P6, which I desperately want to try and get that Sauber seat. If I can beat him, I've got to drive Sauber in F1 2010. But that's it for today's race at the Singapore Grand Prix. Only 3 races left to go now of this 2009 season. What an incredible season it has been. But I will be very, very happy to move back onto the familiar settings of an Xbox controller. So when I'm back on F1 2010, hopefully we can start to get some pretty decent results there, especially driving for the Sauber team. But that would do us for today's race. If you have enjoyed the episode, don't forget to smash the like button and also subscribe if you are new around here for more Rags to Riches content, F1 2017 career mode, and a whole bunch of other Formula 1 stuff as well. And I'll see you guys next time for the Japanese Grand Prix. But until then, it's goodbye from me.